protest zone is supposed to close at 2.
I'm gonna say it. There's still a lot of people in there.
Yeah. Excuse me, guys. Hey, we heard the hotel opens at 2 to the public. No?
Tomorrow.
Do you know tomorrow, not today, it's not going to be open at all to the public at all today?
At all.
Not at all. Tomorrow.
Tomorrow onwards.
What time tomorrow?
9 in the morning.
So at midnight tonight.
If we could move, please. Thank you.
Okay, sorry. We thought we were under the impression it was open. We're gonna keep moving then.
We wanted an expensive burger.
Yeah. A Bilderberger. Hey Hannah, this is actually Luke. John is driving. We just tried to go into the Grove Hotel because they said it opens at 2, and they denied us, and they told us that it won't be open till tomorrow. That is going to be closed.
They just told us that here. I mean, like up to yesterday they were saying it was reopening at 2.
Yeah, the police liaison said that, but now we just tried to drive in and it didn't work out. But we're going back to the Grove protest zone, right? Yeah.
Okay, but what we've been told is that at about 3 they'll lift all the counter-terrorism and we can walk up and film outside the walls.
That's good.
So actually, quite a few people will go and just do a little bit of filming, just very peacefully. But they've told us we can go. So,
Okay.
So come back here and then people are just going to walk up, I suppose.
Great.
The free speech zone has been closed. You must all go home now, like obedient little children that you are.
Guys, they either need to walk back or they drive and they need to get back behind those barriers.
Could ask you to start moving on, that'd be greatly appreciated.
I know you're being very cool about it and super smiley, but we don't have to go do it illegally. Is it a request or an order?
I'm asking if you could.
Is it a request or an order though?
It's not an order. I haven't ordered you over the whole weekend, have I?
We'd simply make requests now.
It's okay because one day these guys are going to belong to us again, and then the world will be alright.
Yeah, but I'm a human being, not a person. I've heard that one. So I belong to myself.
You belong to yourself.
I do indeed. So what I'm asking, and I'm doing a job on now. So what I'm asking, if you could, please, just if you can move on.
I know you're doing it, and the fact that we've got liaison officers now almost takes away the fun part of this, because obviously there's going to be people that are saying, well no, you know, we have to resist because we're able to protest.
Resist, is it?
Free to
I'm asking you.
I don't like to use the word resist, but it's
but you did though, didn't you?
It's a democracy we supposedly live in. We're allowed to peacefully assemble, allowed to peacefully protest. We have been pushed back from the protest ground, so now our rights have been taken away. We can't protest now. And now you're saying we've got to go even further away to where? We'll keep going around the world and we're going to come back that side.
Have you not got a vehicle here or anything then? So I'm not going to walk then.
I might have.
I'll tell you one thing we could do, just I'm sure you'll agree to this, so we're not blocking the footpath, we can just move up that way.
Can't we just move there?
I don't see a problem with that.
Certainly part of what we're here to do is to talk to people. And you've got your cameras, I'm smiling and talking to you. It's nice to hear what people have got to say.
Yeah. Do you think you've learned anything?
Well, I've learned plenty.
Yeah?
I've learned plenty. And I've got my opinions on it, but obviously...
I must admit I have as well.
But obviously won't go into it on camera because I want to keep my opinions to myself.
Right?
No, it's not so much
no,
that.
we don't want you to go onto it on
But the police aren't supposed to have a personal...
We're allowed a personal opinion, it's about expression of that opinion and when we are and aren't.
Yeah,
They must have been seriously security conscious. Look at this, guys. This is a fortune. This is a small fortune, all of this gear.
It's not security, it's secrecy. It's secrecy conscious.
Okay, well... I say tomatoes, you say tomatoes, but...
Well, I think it's a big difference, because there was never a real security
on my tour, I understand that the Google Big Tent event was behind this wall here. I mean, generally, the last time I was here, this car park here was totally full of cars.
Put the camera down.
This car park on the right was totally full of cars, and obviously there's nobody here whatsoever now.
How's it going, Mark?
Oh, it's going fine. Obviously, I'm here on the day after the last day of Bilderberg, as many of the reporters and activists do. You know, they come and breathe the rarefied air where these rich elitists go, you know. And Jim Tucker'd be here with me if he wouldn't have passed away.
Yeah.
So I'm doing it for Jim too, you know.
That's awesome.
To see the castle on the hill from which they look down to the peasants in the valley.
You definitely have to pay tribute and respect, and I'm happy you're keeping up the great work of Jim Tucker and continuing the coverage of Bilderberg Group. And just from your day here, were you able to see anything or uncover anything, or?
Well, I'd be disingenuous if I said that, you know, I was Sherlock Holmes and I tore Moriarty's toupee off and found out he was bald. This is the first year doing it without Jim's guidance. He gave me some mentoring in Spain, Switzerland, and Virginia in the last 3 years. And really, it's just kind of reorienting this thing to get into the new media, all the live streaming that's going on now, and really getting used to getting the message out broader and faster than ever before. So I'm adapting, you might say, what Jim established to the new media, so it's not just print media or simply pre-recorded videos or pre-recorded documentaries. And it's a matter of reading the tea leaves, like many do. I do know that when the think tanks are involved like this, that their writings are very key. The Brookings Institution comes to mind. Gianni Pittella, the Vice President of the European Parliament, recently told the Brookings Institution May 3rd they want a United States of Europe. The EU isn't good enough for them. And because they keep harping about, oh my gosh, the euro's going to fade, we're not going to have our beloved euro anymore, and they act as if Santa Claus is no longer. And to save that, they feel they need to solidify the European states even more. So they want to scrunch them together, throw them all in the blender once again, push the on button, and then they want, he said very explicitly, I'm 5 rows from him as he's speaking, they want a North American Europe free trade agreement. They already have their Trans-Pacific Partnership going. Remember, they form, and Jim and I would write about this in past years about the Trilateral and the Bilderbergers. The Bilderbergers are about mostly broad brushstrokes. Yes, Google comes here for tax deals. Yes, there's all sorts of kind of quasi-lobbying going on.
And colluding.
Colluding, lobbying. The media moguls, the corporate heads, they meet with the prime ministers and the political people, and they want deals, but they're also about geopolitical, geostrategic goals, as you know, Luke. And so, broad brushstrokes, you know, let's have our North American EU free trade agreement, let's have our United States of Europe. As Pittella said, let's have the European Central Bank become like the Federal Reserve, the banker of last resort. So therefore, with one army in Europe, as Pittella also said, we won't have all these European nations represented individually at NATO. We'll have one European army represented at NATO. So NATO's membership would actually reduce in number, but more people would be involved in it in that sense, per capita. So a lot of the think tanks provide a very clear clue on this because they do all the intellectual heavy lifting. And every year you look, RAND Corporation, American Enterprise Institute, Washington Institute for Near East Policy, the Brookings Institution, they're always here. And they're not bankers and they're not politicians, but they do all the thinking, they do all the
middle work.
The middle work, and they define who our enemies are. You know, your enemy today is this Islamic country. And, you know, and now right before Bilderberg, we had New Jersey Senator Menendez, the Democrat, May 15 introduced this bill. It hasn't gotten that far yet, but now America wants to arm the Syrian freedom fighters, quote unquote, but really they're, by most people's estimation, insurrectionists. Under the guise of an uprising, they want to overthrow Assad. Is Assad an angel? No. Would I have dinner with him? Probably not.
No.
But that doesn't mean he's a threat to the West in any tangible, immediate way.
No.
And so, you know, constantly there's the war making and the economic engineering, like the European Central Bank, and all these different things going on. And yet, as Michael Meacher, an MP who you and I know both came to the Bilderberg this year, 2013, in Watford, England, Meacher got out there on the first or second day of the Bilderberg meeting here, not far from this hotel where Bilderberg met. This is the Grove. And he's out there speaking to the average person, and he says, this is a deal-making conference, as I mentioned a few minutes ago. And so they make their deals. Google gets their protectionism, LinkedIn gets their protectionism. And remember, these are the free marketers that say, you and I don't deserve protection. We shouldn't oppose free trade because what are we, protectionists? What, we want our industry to thrive? We don't want to be flooded with Chinese goods, so we're protectionists. But through Bilderberg, they seek hyper protectionism. They want absolute deals, absolute assurance. They don't do gambling. They want absolute assured profits in this shadow governance that they did this year and every year since '54.
I think they just pick whatever ideology benefits them the most, and then they change platforms whenever it works out best for them.
Donkey, elephant, labor,
doesn't.
You know, and they say UKIP is a fresh voice in the wilderness. The UK Independence Party, which their MEP Gerard Batten was out here around the time that Michael Meacher of the regular Parliament, a Labour Party guy, was here, and they're both speaking roughly the same language. They're saying Bilderberg is shadow governance, it's deal making. The word conspiracy was uncomfortable for them. It's the big C word. They trip over the C letter.
Yeah,
you know?
they don't want to be labeled conspiracy theorists, and that's why they're just trying to remain as credible as they can. I think they did a good job. We did interviews with both of these gentlemen, and I was really happy with what they said. I was wondering, I hate to ask you this, but I'm really curious. Can you share, totally understand if you can't, can you share some of the tips Jim Tucker left you?
I can only be very general just to be comfortable with it. Mainly to not get caught up in too much internet speculation, to make sure that I call the right people and consult the right reports and the right sources to get first-hand information. Call people who maybe aren't expecting someone like me to call them, whoever they may be, whatever their position may be, and knock on all the doors and read all the articles that need to be read. Don't just read other media, and you know, stay at the front of the line and stay the course, and don't get too caught up in the modern media playing field. You know, you use the new media to get the message out more efficiently, but that's for reporting what you've learned. Don't use that too much to gather information that you otherwise could get in more direct ways. That would be one thing he'd tell me, because he was old school, whereas I'm one leg in the old school, one leg in the new school.
And how long did you work with Jim Tucker, and how long have you been independently working as a journalist?
My 30th year in journalism is next year, but that was mostly mainstream work. And about 9 or 10 years in so-called alternative media, and then Bilderberg officially since 2010. Yeah, 2010 Spain, 2011 Switzerland, last year Virginia, and now this year. And even if Tucker hadn't passed away, he didn't plan on coming here because he couldn't handle flying anymore internationally.
Wow.
So he figured he would just be a little incapacitated by his ailing health, and he's getting older. And so, but here we are, and Bilderberg thing is carrying on. Some of us are concerned about, the calls for transparency will have a small t rather than a capital T.
Yeah.
And that exposure, a little bit of limited hangout might convince people to think that there's nothing to see here.
Exactly. It'll be just public relations battering, so they could just, I mean, I don't understand why they haven't done it already, because looking at everything from a PR perspective, they could easily lie and bullcrap their way through it and make everybody seem like there's nothing happening here. I don't understand. That's my thing. I don't understand why they're creating such a mystique. They could easily hire the best PR company, and they could whitewash and change the words around to make it seem like they're just having tea and biscuits here, when they're, we know they're not. But with the public perception, they could so easily do that.
Yeah, the agenda they give us, jobs, cybersecurity in the world, the real agenda, overthrow Estonia.
Yeah, there's still a lot that they're getting away with. There's still this mystique. My last question would be, what did you think of this year's Bilderberg? What's your assessment? How was it different from all the other years that you covered Bilderberg?
Well, certainly it's the most people that have ever shown up outside a Bilderberg meeting. Jim was just telling me not long before he passed away how him and some AFP people and a few other reporters and the activists numbered no more than 50, maybe even 40 at Greece, and that was 2009. And so 40 or so people Greece 2009, and probably a total of 3,000 plus over the weekend here 2013. So in sheer quantity, that's good. Do all the people there that came to hear, bigger names, Alex Jones, David Icke, that have a lot of pulling power, a lot of attraction, do they all know enough about this to really know what to do about it? Maybe not. Some do, some don't.
Yeah.
So the increasing awareness is good. My hope, though, my desire, though, is that awareness doesn't fade or begin to look at this as just some ephemeral thing, and that it leads to what really has to happen, and that's any kind of shadow governance, whether it's the Bilderberg Group, the Trilateral Commission, or whoever. It's supposed to stop. See, if a school board in a typical town were meeting secret all the time, eventually the Attorney General would stop them.
Yeah.
And why is it that these people that have the biggest levers of power and the most money behind it can continually meet, as you say, kind of PR their way through it? If if government changes, if new prime ministers are being installed, old ones are being toppled, if wars are coming out of it, if this is some true secretive or privatized governance, that's what I call Bilderberg, is the privatization of government. If that's truly what it is, then it's not supposed to be there. If it's not supposed to be there, it's supposed to stop. Therefore, the hand of justice would have to swing, not just mere exposure.
Very much true. Mark, thank you for this interview. Really appreciate that.
The police probably said you expect some riffraff to try and get in tonight. Don't talk. So they had to sign no disclosure form, John. Did he say?
Yeah, they signed within his contract. It sounded like it was pretty heavy. It was like they obviously lay it on strong because it was like, well, it's within my contract. Even if I did know something, I couldn't say anything. And I was like, well, hold on. I was like, you've got rights. You've got a duty of care to the public interest.
Yeah.
And he said, and I said, obviously, you're a good man. You will make that decision for yourself. You've got my details. Contact me if there's something that justifies us getting out.
Yeah.
I said, your anonymity is utmost. I said, I don't know your name. I don't know who you are.
So he said he didn't know anything, but even if he did, he wouldn't be able to say anything.
Pretty much.
So it made you start a WeAreChange chapter here in Birmingham.
Yeah, Birmingham's in the Midlands, which is pretty much in the centre of England. And we started up, me and two other guys, one other guy initially. We started up in about 2008, I think it was, and invested in cameras and DVD copiers, and got venues. We had a couple of different pubs in Birmingham, and we'd put film nights on, try and get speakers. So we had like fluoride, people come and talk to us about fluoride, vaccines, and then we just put on good films and good documentaries, all different variety of stuff. And for weeks and weeks and weeks, you get one or two or three, and like there'd be some drunk boy who'd come in and change it, who'd come in and like start mouthing off, and you know, it's pretty disheartening initially. And then probably after about 6 months, we started getting a really good crowd, and you know, it was 20 people every week, 30 people every week, people coming up from all over the city, and it wasn't easy for them. A lot of them didn't have cars, and you know, having to get the bus, it was always an awkward time, like a Sunday night we would do. Everybody always likes to have a drink at these things, which is a bit of a shame, which is one of the problems with having these things in a pub, I guess. There's not many other venues. Oh.
No, right, there's another turn.
There's not many other venues, and then eventually there was about 50 to 100 people coming every week, and I helped set up this other event that is now going, called Truth Juice. And yeah, to be fair, I don't spend any time with Truth Juice anymore, because I find that the talks and things are a little bit airy-fairy.
Okay, we go. Turn around.
It's a little less political and a little bit more out there, shall we say, and that's not what I wanted to be involved in. So yeah, I've just been doing things on my own and just carrying on my research really, but trying not allow myself go too mental, because there's so much information out there, and videos get put up very quickly, I find, after events, that you know, it's like people are just jumping the gun before there's actually any any real information out.
Turn right onto Burns Road.
Sweet.
What was the funnest thing you did as
WeAreChange?
Yeah.
So I shouted at Lord Mandelson and accused him of creating a new world order and a new political order, and I asked him
where
about.
Where'd you shot him at? Was this at an event?
This was at the Conservative Party conference in Birmingham. Actually, the video is online. It's not great. It's not the best bit that we ever did, but it was better than nothing. And we actually asked him where next year's Bilderberg meetings was, and he confirmed that it was in Spain. So that'll tell you when it was.
Was he having a conversation, or?
So there was a big media scrum around him, and I jumped in. I had a T-shirt on that said, excuse my language, same shit dish for an arsehole. It had a picture of Cameron one side and Gordon Brown the other.
That's not usually the best attire to do journalism in.
No, I had a jacket on, so the press all surrounded us. Sky News was there and everything, and like it was live Sky News footage, and I just unzipped the jacket and opened it. and it worked quite well. It worked quite well.
That was back in the day. What year was that? Because we were more activist, kind of. We were more concentrating on activism than journalism back then.
Yeah, that was 2008. That was sort of 2008. That was when the Conservative Party were trying to get into power. They were at Birmingham University, and we also got Ed Balls. I met the guys from Fathers for Justice, or New Fathers for Justice, which is obviously the group that tries to push the government to try and get some. We are here. Try and get some justice for fathers who have their children taken away from them. Often mothers are given a lot more rights than fathers when it comes to divorce cases and child, children's
You still didn't
rights.
finish your story. You were screaming at Mandelson.
Yeah, we screamed at him and just told him that we knew what he was doing and things like that, and we were like asking him questions. When's the next Bilderberg meeting? Are you going? And he was like, it's in Spain. This was in front of the big scrum, and we were like, you bugger, he's just mentioned it. And then we got Ed Balls as well a couple of times, and in fact my friend Darren chased Ed Balls around for the whole day, just kept going back after him. So there was about 3 confrontations with him. But then what happened was YouTube, obviously the police were in Birmingham were alerted to what we were doing. At the same time I was also uploading all of the police's propaganda videos onto my YouTube channel, not thinking that there's anything wrong with it. It's public. Obviously I was putting copyright fair use stuff in there.
Yeah.
Logged onto my channel sort of like probably 6 months after a lot of this had happened. WeAreChange Brum does not exist.
Why is that?
They took the whole channel down. I mean, I had over 1 million views, over 1,000 subscribers, and they took the whole thing down.
Was that because of the police complaint?
So they said it was the police complaint, but obviously, it's not just that. I don't think it's obviously what else we were doing, but the police had put that complaint in.
And then because the police put a complaint against you on YouTube, they took down your YouTube channel.
Yeah, pretty much. And I've got about 3 or 4 other YouTube channels now, but I lost a little bit of the. After you've lost
the momentum.
Yeah, after you've lost one good channel and all the footage, like my hard drive had crashed, so I didn't have any of the old footage to re-upload, which was a bit of a shame.
Scoby! Fuck you, you massive bitch. That's not even. What the fuck?
That's pretty loud. And you're not even doing anything. You're not even editing videos. What are you doing on here? I'm not even doing anything. Alright, this is definitely the least fun part of the trip. Dan Dix is going back to Canada. He's going to be doing great reports from there. Pressfortruth.ca. And our journey continues. We'll be in London for a little bit, and then we're going to Belfast. So wish us luck. We hear it's going to be crazy over there. We hear that police are already buying water cannons. We hear that drones are going to be flying overhead. So it should be interesting.
It's like a digital Polaroid.
No way.
Whoa.
Cool.
That's heavy.
Very cool. I didn't know they made ones like that. That comes out really nice. There you go. Let it dry. Don't touch it on the top. Oh, awesome. Good pick. Yeah. Oh man, that's very cool. Awesome, man. Alright, good seeing you. Stay in contact. Let me know if you're ever in New York, if you need some help. And can't visit you. I won't visit you. Maybe in 6 years when I'm unbanned. When I'm not banned from Canada, I'll see you.
No, we'll get him down.
We'll get you down.
Is that how long it takes? 6 years to be unbanned?
It's 10 years, but now it's 4 years process and time, so. This is Rudkowski of WeAreChange, and we're gonna have a very hectic next 48 hours, so we thought we would bring you along and show you what we're up to and what we're doing.
Discussing local residents' fears. I'm going down there and coming back if you want to come along.
Yeah, that'd be awesome if you can.
Yeah. Let me just pull up over there.
Yeah, sure, thank you.